This time I'm looking at my Commodore Amiga CD32. As you can see, it's a little bit dusty, and as you can see on the CD tray itself, there was a little bit of a damage to it. Not done by me, I got it like that. You see the power supply as well has got damage to it, but it did all work. However, as soon as I opened this box up, all I could smell was that horrible fishy capacitor smell, which usually suggests that the capacitors have started leaking. And we have a look at the classic CD32 controller and the inherent problem there with the directional pad rotating, which it shouldn't do. First things first, we're just going to power this up. As you can see, it's quite handy. It's just got the 9-pin DIN things for the controllers. Just your usual RCA, yellow, white, red connectors. Power supply is a simple 12 volts stroke 5 volts 4-pin connector. Also, you've got the usual UHF output as well. This is a PAL unit, which a lot of them are. There were some North American ones, I believe, but very few, very rare to find. Most commonly, you'll find this PAL one. And if I switch it on, and as you can see, this is all I'm getting on the screen. Kind of like a snow effect. Just these little dots just continuously just dropping down the screen. Not much use for playing games or anything else right now. So, first things first, let's open up the console and we'll have a look and see what's going on inside. At the back, this is an expansion port. This was used for the video card, and I believe there's only one game that actually uses the video card add-on, which was Cannon Fodder. You get a little video intro at the beginning. Used to have one, got rid of it because again, never really used it. Not an essential thing really for this console. Removing the last screws here so we can actually get inside and have a look. So lifting the lid off, you can see we've got a ribbon cable for the CD drive and a little connector there for connecting the control panel, which has got the reset volume control. You can plug in separate headphones into this console if you don't want to put the sound through the TV. Just having a little bit of difficulty just lifting this connector. It's just a standard kind of connector, just the you kind of lift it forward to release the strain on the ribbon cable. That's got it. Unfortunately, it looks like the other parts come off with the ribbon cable as well. So now I've just removed the metal shielding. As you can see, it's a little bit rusty. Like I say, when I got this console, it wasn't in very good condition anyway. But it did work, it was functional. And over the years I've had boxed ones and things like that, but to be honest, this one plays the games. I'm quite happy with it, even though it isn't exactly in the best condition. It does what I need it to do, or it did anyway. So now just having a look, first thing I notice are these two capacitors here, and as you can see, the tops of them are bulging. This instantly makes me think these capacitors have had it. However, you can smell, the smell is so strong, so I thought I'm going to replace every single capacitor on here, including these surface mount capacitors. And that's the first time I've really done this with surface mount. I prefer through hole components, but I'm using these soldering tweezers to basically pincer either side of it to remove the capacitors, and it does a fairly decent job. Unfortunately, where one or two tracks did get lifted, again it is a little bit tricky to do these things. I might think of a different technique in future, but for now it's just a case of removing these capacitors off of here and just replacing them with equivalents. Just going to have a look through the magnifier, just see what we've got here. So this is the best way, again cheapest way I suppose, to kind of see what's going on the capacitors themselves. You can actually see what their ratings are on the top, and normally what voltage they are as well. So with the capacitors, as long as you keep it to the same value and a voltage either the same or slightly higher, not a problem. Just testing my incoming voltage here as well, just to make sure I'm getting my 12 volts and 5 volts, which I seem to be getting fine. Replaced all the capacitors on there, and now this is what I'm getting when I turn on the console. Completely blank screen, so I'm no longer getting them little sort of snow coming down the screen. However, it's still not working, but just thought I'd have a closer look at the board itself, and as you can see, some of them components still look a little bit funky. Also, what also looks pretty funky is my soldering of these surface mount capacitors. I must apologise for that. You do get better the more you go on with them, but you can see there the kind of grime and just dirt on the top of them components there. And I'm assuming this is from where these capacitors have leaked and are causing a problem. Also, the 1000 microfarad capacitors I got, the original ones were 10 volts. I put in 25 volt ones, and they are quite tall, so I'm just going to put a little bit of insulation tape over the top of them later, just when I put the shielding back on. But I probably will change them out at some point, because you can see they are quite tall. But for now, it's just a case of seeing if we can get this working. So what I did, I thought I'd just give the board a little clean with isopropyl alcohol and see what happens. And I got this. So it looks like where the old capacitors have leaked, must have just been shorting out a little bit, causing a little bit of an issue. Literally all I've done is use some isopropyl alcohol and some Q-tips, just cotton wool buds, just tidied up the printed circuit board. As you can hear, there's no real sound at the moment, but I'm getting the intro screen anyway, which is a good start. So after a little bit of investigating, I noticed this capacitor here. So this is one of the last ones that I put on, and as you can see, it's not soldered down properly. I believe that's what's causing the issue. So, definitely an issue with this little fella here. So, moving it about, I'm now getting some sound coming out, so I just need to solder that down properly. that is a lot better. That's state of the Q-tips, or one of many of them, and you can kind of see that kind of capacitor sort of grease and gunk. So I just thought I'd just give the case and everything else another little bit of a quick clean up with isopropyl alcohol as well, just to see if I can get it looking a little bit neater. Like I say, this is more of a day-to-day use one rather than a display, which again I don't really believe in having like a display. Most consoles I use, as I say, I haven't got round to this one for a while because I don't have that many CD32 games, but just fancied playing it. And then obviously when I've opened the box and I smelt that smell straight away, I knew I'm probably in trouble here. So you just got to put down that little protective cover, so that just stops the board shorting out at the back. Board just slots in there. Again, I'm just going to use this black insulation tape on the top of these capacitors, because when I put that top shielding on, they do touch that top shielding, and again, not ideal. For now I'll use it, but I probably will change them out for the 10 volt ones, which are just stand a little bit shorter. Just going to give this cover a clean as well, but as you can see, it's rusty without literally taking wire to it and cleaning it all off properly. But again, I'm not too fussed with it. It's internal to the machine itself. Also, wire wall's just going to, I mean, the corrosion's just going to come back. Ideally, you want to do something with it, either spray it or replate it if possible. But again, it's a lot of, I mean, I suppose spraying would probably be the easiest solution to make it look neat. But again, as I say, it's internal to the machine. You're not really going to see it. Going to give this little outer cover a little clean as well with some isopropyl alcohol. Clean some of that dust off. And as you can see in the top left hand corner there's a screw. So again, I'm assuming at some point in the history of this machine, this broke, the CD part, this top part broke, the hinge broke off, so someone's literally just put a screw through the top of the case to hold that hinge back on there again. Not the best solution, but it does the job. And finally, just going to put that CD ribbon back in. It's just poking down that little connector, and then just connecting the other board's connector as well, the one that has the reset button, the volume control, etc. Again, screw wise, these are all, it's very simple, no clever screws or anything like that. It literally is just a crosshead screwdriver for pretty much everything on there. There aren't any star keys or any other kind of fancy tri bits or anything like that. It literally is just crosshead screws all the way through the console. Now with that sorted, let's turn our attentions to the controller itself. Again, this is a very simple construction. We're talking 7 screws, small crosshead screws on the back that hold the two parts together. Here. So the printed circuit board itself That's held on by 2 screws to the front of the case to hold everything together. Now what I thought interesting with this is you can see it was manufactured by Honeybee, this controller for Commodore. And from memory, I'm sure they did a similar controller for Competition Pro. There's one for the Mega Drive or Genesis and one for the CD32. I'm sure that was made by Honeybee. So just 2 screws to take the printed circuit board off. And now the first thing we want to look at is our directional pad. So we'll see what the issue is here. There should be 4 little tabs around the corner there. Them 4 little tabs locate it on the, you can see the little slots there where the tabs should go in. And over time, because it's just such thin plastic, they just all broke off. So as soon as they break off, the directional pad no longer stays in the right position, which means when you're pushing down, if it's out of position, you're no longer pushing down on the membrane properly. So that's why I think this controller did get quite a bad rap, because it did break quite easily. All I'm going to do for now, ideally what I need to do is print up another D-pad with them little tabs on there. For now I am going to go absolutely bodge town and just use a bit of insulation tape to hold it in position. Again, it should stop it from turning, but whether it'll work or not, we'll find out. As you can see, it's holding it in the right position. I'm just going to put the membrane on the back. I mean, really, all that membrane's doing, as soon as you push down on a particular direction, it makes a connection on that printed circuit board. So the next thing is to put these little buttons back in, and as you can see on the buttons as well, they've also got a little tab either side to stop them from rotating. However, for them, it doesn't really make so much of an issue if they're rotating, because they're round buttons. It doesn't really matter what position they're in, they're still going to locate correctly. However, as you can see, the tabs are fine on them. Kind of reminds me a lot of a Super Nintendo controller, the way this is kind of put together, especially with them shoulder pad connections. So again, very similar to a Super Nintendo, where it has that kind of hinge on one side, and then again just that little circuit board off the top, which then just that slots into the plastic behind. And again, just got the membrane, pushes down onto them when you're using it. So now just putting the screws back in, and that holds it all together. And again, something quite common with 1990s controllers, the strain relief is literally putting the cable kind of around the posts that hold the thing together. So again, stops if someone pulls on the cable, stops it directly impacting onto the connectors themselves, takes a little bit of the strain off of it. That D-pad feels very tight, and as you can see with the D-pad as well, it isn't kind of, it's almost off at a slight angle. I'd say about a 10-degree angle over to the right, rather than being actually kind of straight. Now with this power supply, pretty much without replacing the case, and there's not much I can do with that. I might be able to make a little plate, put it over the front, but for now you can't touch anything inside. I'm going to leave it as is for now. Now the final part, let's see if it will play a game. So let me get the game here. Just try it. And I'm seeing no disk activity at all on the front of the unit, which isn't a good sign. I'll just press reset here. You can see the disk isn't moving at all. So the way the Amiga CD32 CD works is as soon as you close the top of the case, that basically puts pressure on top of the CD unit, which makes a connection, which then lets the basically it knows that there's a disk in there, and it will start looking for a disk. And I'm getting none of that at all. So when I open this up, straight away I can see the problem. That ribbon cable is not staying in place. That broken connector, I believe, is causing the issue. You can see again the white plastics come off with the ribbon cable, which it shouldn't do. That should all be part of the same unit. So what I'm going to do for now, just to see if I have got any life in the CD unit itself, make sure again it's not a bad capacitor or anything. I'm just going to remove the CD unit and the little console, and so I can have it all open case and see what's happening. So as you can see, playing around with the ribbon cable, I am getting some signs of life out of it. Again, it's not making enough of a connection to be able to play a game. But you can see the CD unit spinning, the head's trying to do something. Obviously it's not ideal to run it like this. You lose your disc all the time. Well, looks like the CD unit's spinning up. So I had a look online and I found Amiga Store EU do a replacement connector. So I think that's my next thing, is order one of them, and we'll come back and revisit this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.